The hallway echoed with the sound of scuffed shoes and laughter that had just a little too much venom. It was a normal day at Ridgemont High, where normal meant whispers behind lockers, sidelong glances in the cafeteria, and the ever-present divide between those who belonged and those who didn't. Today, it was Ayana's turn. She had only been at the school for a week, a transfer student from a town few had even heard of. She was quiet, always sitting alone, head buried in a book, or scribbling in her worn-out sketch. Her clothes were modest for the fashion-obsessed crowd that ran the school's social hierarchy, and her dark braided hair was tied back tightly, as if she wanted to disappear. But disappearing never worked in high school. The whispers started on day 2. Who does she think she is? Why does she walk like that? Why does she never talk? And by day 5, the wolves had circled. In the locker area just before gym, the trio of self-proclaimed queens of the school, Amber, Riley, and Jess, decided they'd had enough of the weird new girl. They wanted to see her squirm. It was something they were good at, using cruelty like it was a sport. Like humiliating someone made them stronger. Ayana stood at her locker, alone. The halls were starting to clear out, most students having already gone into the gym. She moved with quiet purpose, slipping out of her sweater and stuffing it inside. Reaching for her gym tee. Amber leaned to Jess and whispered something. They all giggled. Then Amber strutted forward with her signature smirk. "Hey, new girl." Ayana turned. Her eyes were calm, almost gentle. Jess and Riley flanked her as Amber stepped closer. "You've been quiet all week? You think you're better than everyone?" Ayana blinked. "No." Amber's smile widened. "Good. Then you won't mind a little fun, right?" Before Ayana could respond, Amber reached out and yanked at the hem of her skirt. It happened in less than a second. Ayana's hand moved like lightning, catching Amber's wrist before the fabric even shifted. Her grip was steel. Amber gasped, trying to pull away, but couldn't. Then Ayana twisted gently, not enough to hurt, just enough to make Amber stagger, her mouth open in shock. "What's the?" Riley started. But Ayana wasn't done. She spun to the side, letting go of Amber's arm, and pivoted low. In a single graceful motion, she swept her leg, knocking Amber completely off her feet. The queen bee landed flat on her back with a heavy thud that echoed off the lockers. Jess took a step forward, but froze as Ayana straightened and turned her gaze on them. "Don't." That one word had weight. It wasn't loud, but it carried more power than a scream. Jess and Riley looked at each other. Riley's mouth moved, but no sound came. They backed away, not even helping Amber, who was still lying on the floor blinking at the ceiling in confusion. As they disappeared around the corner, Ayana turned back to her locker, finished changing, and walked off toward the gym as if nothing had happened. But the story had only begun. By the time gym class ended, the rumor had spread through the school like wildfire. "She's a black belt." Amber got thrown like a doll. She didn't even break a sweat. Everyone wanted to know who the new girl really was. But Ayana didn't bask in the attention. She stayed quiet, sat alone at lunch, kept drawing. It was as though none of it mattered, except to one person. Liam had been watching her since her first day, not in a creepy way, but curious. He wasn't like the others, tall, quiet, athletic, and kind. He had seen what happened near the lockers, and unlike the rest, he wasn't impressed by the gossip or the spectacle. He was intrigued by the calm she carried. That afternoon, as the school began to empty out, Liam walked toward her, where she sat under the old oak behind the gym. Hey, he said, stopping a few feet away. She looked up. Hi. You okay? Ayana nodded, almost smiled. I'm used to it. He sat down beside her. That's not okay, she shrugged. You're a black belt. Yeah, since I was 10. You hurt her. No. She just wasn't expecting someone to stand up for themselves. They sat in silence for a moment before Liam asked, why didn't you fight back when they were talking behind your back all week? Ayana glanced up at the swaying branches. Because words don't deserve a fight, but hands, that's different. That sentence struck Liam in a way he didn't expect. Over the next few days, something shifted. Ayana still kept to herself, but now students gave her space not out of fear, but respect. Liam began sitting with her during breaks. They talked, shared stories. Slowly, Ayana opened up. She spoke about her old town, how her father had passed away the year before, how she and her mum had to move here for a fresh start. She missed her dojo, missed the routine of early morning training, and the wisdom of her sensei, karate. She explained one day, isn't about fighting, it's about peace, discipline, controlling your own strength. Liam listened, and he learned. But peace in high school is short-lived. Amber wasn't the type to take humiliation lying down. Literally, she was furious, and humiliated, and worst of all, forgotten. For her, that was worse than defeat. A week later, during lunch, she made her move. She gathered a few football players, including her ex-boyfriend, Mark, and convinced them that Ayana had jumped her, had humiliated her unfairly, and was a threat to everyone's status. So they cornered her, near the parking lot, where cameras didn't reach and most teachers didn't wander. Amber stood, smirking, as Mark cracked his knuckles. You really think you're some kind of ninja? Ayana didn't flinch. Come on, tough girl, Mark said, stepping forward. Liam appeared out of nowhere. Mark raised a brow. What, you're her bodyguard now? No, Liam said, stepping beside Ayana, but I don't like cowards. Mark lunged, and this time there was no hesitation. Ayana moved so fast it looked like a blur. Mark swung wide. She ducked, stepped inside his reach, and flicked his leg out from under him. He crashed down, groaning. Another tried to grab her. She spun, elbowed him in the gut, and guided him to the ground without even a punch. It wasn't violence. It was art. And it ended as quickly as it began. Teachers came running, alerted by the crowd that had gathered. The football players scrambled up and tried to lie, but too many people had seen it. Too many knew the truth. Amber tried to twist the story, but her voice cracked, her lies exposed. This time, the school wasn't behind her. She'd gone too far. The principal suspended the instigators. Amber was stripped of her student council privileges, and the irony was clear to Alshi, who had, ruled by fear, had been undone by someone who never wanted to rule at all. In the weeks that followed, Ayana's world changed. Not because she became popular, she didn't want that, but because she had earned something better: respect. Students began greeting her in the halls. A few younger girls started asking about self-defense. Liam started a petition to bring a martial arts club to the school, and Ayana was asked to lead it. At first, she hesitated. She wasn't used to being a leader. But then she remembered her father's voice: strength is only useful when it's shared. So she said yes. The first class had 10 students. The second had 30. And in that gym, surrounded by a circle of eager learners, Ayana felt something she hadn't in a long time: belonging. But more than that, purpose. Her story was no longer just about a girl who fought back. It was about a girl who rose above cruelty, who turned pain into power, and fear into leadership. She never wanted to hurt anyone. But when the time came, she reminded everyone that kindness is not weakness, and silence is not submission. Because sometimes the quietest people carry the loudest lessons. And sometimes the biggest mistake a bully can make is picking on the wrong girl.